been working in AI for over a decade now. Lately, it's become quite intense. There's just too much hype in AI. Everybody's hustling. Before, it used to be this really cool and niche thing to work in. Just a bunch of cool kids working on some very hard problems. But in the last 4 years, ever since major AI breakthroughs have happened, things have changed quite a bit. The only way I can get away from it all is hopping on my bike. An old mentor used to say that in order to stay sane in this crazy and fast-moving world, every person has to do 4 things at least every day. Doesn't matter if you did 1, but ideally 4. You did something for the mind, something for the body, something for the soul, and something for the spirit. And lately I've started to take that advice a little more seriously. You work on one very hard problem every day. You get on a bike or do something physical. And on a day like this, where it's absolutely glorious after a lot of rain, the sun's come out and the weather is absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to cross this bridge. It's the 520 that connects Seattle and Bellevue. I've driven across this bridge hundreds of times, but I've always wanted to bring my bike here. I've always admired how calm the waters are on this side of the bridge, whereas on the other side they're very choppy. I've always wondered why. Going back to the 4 things, doing something for the soul, which is spending more time with family and friends, creating memories, not PowerPoints, and then doing something for the spirit. We're all here for a reason, and connecting to some form of higher power is, I guess, what the advice was. And I try to do all 4 things every day. I've just realized that there are parts of Seattle that I haven't seen and you actually can't see, like this one, with all of these structures, which I think are spots where you can hang around and catch the bus. But you don't get to see these things when you're in a car. You don't get to pause. I'm crossing the bridge and heading towards the University of Washington, which is a beautiful university, as you will see. There is this concept called atraxia in Greek, which literally translates to, I think, cannot be disturbed. And lately, I've been trying to drown out the noise on the internet as much as I can. There's always a new paper, a new model, a new product that promises to change the world yet again. And before I was really good at keeping up with a whole lot of this information, but over the years, I've just started to tune that out. Because the focus needs to be more around the signal, not the noise. I really love this section just apart from the bridge, and once you cross that, you enter this really gorgeous campus of the University of Washington. I kind of miss my uni life. I miss lecturing at universities. I used to do that back when I was living in New York, at Columbia. Something so peaceful about academia. Maybe it's me just romanticizing things in my head. The possibilities of what the world out there could look and the pursuit of knowledge. I've always found a lot of peace and calm and quiet at university campuses. It's an early Saturday morning and it's the winter, so you're seeing fewer and fewer students as they all head home for the holidays. Otherwise, these roads are bustling with a lot of students on foot. The Seattle bike infrastructure isn't all that great, and as you can see, you kind of have to figure out the rules based on each street. So you have to be a little careful about these things. But I'm not complaining. I see fewer and fewer people on the streets today, giving me a lot of peace and quiet on this ride. I'm headed to a cafe today for some coffee. This is a cafe I've been to quite a few times. It was created by the founders of one of the other places that I really like called the London Plane that unfortunately had to shut down, I think right after the pandemic. And the creators of that place have a new cafe that very recently opened. And having been here a few times, I thought that this would be a nice stop. Here we are. It's quite windy today, but I'm glad I finally made it. This is the Wayland Mill. The cafe mostly serves Japanese-inspired meals throughout the day. I've been here for brunch quite a few times, and I really like it. But today I'm here just for some coffee. I'm generally a pour-over kind of guy, but today I'm going to have to stick with drip because that was the only thing that was available, I guess. I'm not complaining, the coffee's hot, and this view is not so bad. Time to head out, and I'm going to try and get creative about the routes that I take. Because like I said, I don't generally like out and back rides. I tend to like larger loops. And it's also good to see so many cyclists on this road today. I'm riding my wife's bike today, so I'm going to have to be careful with it. It's so nice to see so much green, even in the thick of winter. But these roads, I'm sure, during spring are absolutely stunning. Taking a different path from around the University of Washington. Some of these buildings are very modern and probably very newly built, focused on the sciences. Looks like there's going to be a lot of sun in my direction now. I forgot to get my sunglasses, so I'm going to have to squint in a few sections. We're getting closer to the bridge. That's the Husky Stadium right there. I really like this part of Seattle. It's quiet. Maybe because it's just mostly the University of Washington campus. And everybody around probably is teaching or studying there. So it's generally quiet today. These streets remind me of the parking in New York, where people park on both sides of very narrow lanes. Just a quick pause to take in the views before we start heading back. This was a nice ride. I'm glad I did it. The bridge is actually quite noisy with the cars flying past at 70 miles an hour. But the views are undoubtedly incredible. You can see these small boats that are really well designed and look gorgeous. This bridge is actually quite packed in the morning during commute hours, and if the day is good, I see a lot of people commuting back and forth between Bellevue and Seattle. But I'm glad to have the bridge entirely to myself. This is a view of Medina. You can see all the incredibly expensive properties. I like kayaking around that lake. You get to be a little more up close to those properties and see what it's like. We're back in Medina now, or to be specific, Hunts Point. And this trail actually goes all the way to my office. But I've never actually biked this section before, so lots of little parks and tennis courts and pickleball courts around this area. Well, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have done that ride. It's time to go home now.